Good morning, everyone. I'm Max Learmonth, the Managing Partner for the FJR Group of the North, and today I am joined by Gill Garvey, who is the Finance Director at Liverpool John Lennon Airport for the second edition of the Directors' Cup. So, Gill, good morning.
Good morning, Max. How are you?
I am very well, thank you. It's that was going to be my starting point. How have you found things over the last couple of months in the challenge of COVID-19? How have you been?
I personally have been really good. There's been some highs and lows. I'm in a relatively new position. So I joined Liverpool John Lennon Airport early August, and kind of assuming quite naively, I guess, at that time, as a lot of people were probably feeling that we were coming out of the worst. I know there was all this hype about a second lockdown, and we kind of knew it. We might have a tough winter, but we were all kind of trying to be optimistic, and we were coming out of a pretty tough time of everyone being at home and people worrying about their jobs, etc., and people being furloughed, and so it was quite an exciting time for me to just come out of home and be back in the office and be meeting some new people and starting a new role and kind of naively thinking that recovery was on the way. And we did have a few weeks of that, but then obviously we've gone kind of right back in to where we were in the late spring and early summer, and we've kind of had to replan a few times.
Oh, I think certainly from my side, what didn't help was the tier 3, not tier 3, tier 3, not tier 3. Okay, we'll go with tier 3 for a couple of weeks. Oh, we're back into lockdown 2.0.
I guess I'm a Manchester girl, but I'm working in Liverpool, so picking up a bit of the accent. And I think, and Liverpool obviously just, we're put into tier 3. And we did feel the impact immediately. Obviously we were already feeling the impact of various countries going into quarantine measures, and and obviously we're a reduction in passenger numbers around that time, and people not wanting to travel, and then we had a bit of a resurgence, and then obviously the tier 3, and then ultimately the lockdown has completely shut down most traffic for us, to be honest.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenging time, and if somebody had said to me in March that we'd still be in the position now, I wouldn't have believed you, but we are.
And I think that obviously the key thing right now is with all this uncertainty is actually just to make sure we're checking in on each other. And it's all my team are working from home, as the government is suggesting that everyone should be at home when they can be, and I'm in the office, and because obviously we are still an operating airport, we haven't closed, but the bulk of our workforce is either furloughed or is working from home, and trying to keep contact with them and keep spirits lifted through what is a really difficult time for the travel industry and the aviation industry. That's our biggest challenge.
Well, Gill, just on that, because obviously workforce engagement was so important pre-COVID, and to your point, it's even more so important now. So how have you found the managing of people remotely in what was a new circumstance? How have you found the employee engagement and health and well-being? What have you done to sort of help your team, and what have the airport done?
Yes, it's probably it's really difficult, actually, and I think first and foremost, when you've worked with an organisation for a number of years or a number of months before lockdown or before COVID, you've had that opportunity to have face-to-face engagement and have those water cooler conversations, and the kitchen conversations, etc. And obviously I joined at a time when everyone was at home. There were some people in the office, but it was quite sparse. And actually what in particular, my predecessor here and the financial controller here had done once the team had kind of been sent home and part of the team had been furloughed, was that they maintained a daily catch-up with each individual of the team. And I can't speak for every team here. Now, remember, there's a lot of operational teams that have worked all the way through the pandemic. Whilst we may not be as busy as we are in normal times, they've really pulled together to ensure that we've been able to furlough people and obviously take the benefit of the furlough scheme, and done, working on hybrid roles, covering areas they've never covered before, and actually just rolling the sleeves up and just getting involved. And I think that's helped some people, but obviously just trying their best to maintain contact with colleagues who are furloughed. And I think, I think when we had some sunshine, being furloughed perhaps wasn't as tough as
it is now,
as it was actually being in work. But I think now, obviously, being furloughed is a much tougher position to be in than to be going out to work every day.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, it's about trying to maintain contact, and obviously just that appreciation of whether you're working, whether you're not working, there are challenges with both.
Yeah.
No, absolutely, and I think you've hit the nail on the head. It's just trying to keep that level of engagement. Like it's tough for the people that are working. It's tough for the people that are furloughed, and just having that understanding that we're all in this together. We've all just got different roles to play. As we've gone through the first lockdown and as we go through the second one, I think that's massive.
And the culture here is phenomenal. There's some amazing individuals in some great teams here, and that's made it very easy for me to transition in. Whilst it's been unusual to be walking in empty offices and to be trying to develop relationships over video, it's been made much easier by just how friendly and actually just what a community and airports are. And I've got an airport background, as you know, Max. I was at Manchester Airport Group for 8 years. They just are little communities, and I think at this time, having a really strong culture in your organisation, actually you can build on that, and I think that's helpful. I think if you didn't have that strong collaborative culture pre-COVID, then I'm pretty sure those organisations are probably struggling now, or hopefully they've made some, they've adapted things so that they've been able to build on that and hopefully continue to use that when things are back to normal.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, Gill, you mentioned culture. What previously was linked to culture was being in an office 5 days a week, having those conversations in the kitchen, maybe having that beer in the office on a Friday. How did the airport adapt? How have you felt, and what do you think it will look like post-COVID? Because in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, I don't think businesses will ever go back to 5 days a week in an office. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a very broad question by way of or a very broad statement when you say businesses are never going to be in the office 5 days a week. I'm in a very operational organisation, so and so 80% of our workforce has to be physically here.
Okay.
At the end of the day, you can't work from home and take someone through security.
True.
You can't work in customer services in a terminal building and do that from home. But there are many roles that where you can offer that flexibility. And absolutely, I think a lot of organisations will be seeing some of the benefits of offering flexibility. And I think the key thing is that if it can be proven that people can work just as productively at home as they can in the office, then why wouldn't we offer that? Why wouldn't businesses offer that? I mean, there's obviously some savings to be made from a commercial perspective if you've got less office space and you're not heating buildings, etc. But I do firmly believe that people do need to interact, and that social interaction is really important, and that the right balance absolutely needs to be there. But I mean, I was a big champion of flexible working, and prior to the lockdown, and I do think that if you trust your employees and you offer them that flexibility, then I think it pays back twofold.
I think the word you just used there is trust. I think it's massive. I think where my head was previously was I just loved everybody being in the office 5 days a week. I just loved that. And granted, that's sales, but you build that culture, that element of camaraderie. But where my head has sort of naturally gone to now is, it's if you want to be in the office, like, please be in the office, please still be around. Everybody within our business has proved that they can be productive from home. They are productive from home. They're fundamentally still doing everything that they need to do. What I've naturally found is, when we are allowed, people want to be in an office. I don't think it'll be 5 days, but I think we might naturally have a split of where it's sort of 3 and 2, so people that they can still be around each other. So I just think it's a really interesting topic, because it's going to be what suits the business, or what suits your business, or what suits the people that you have within your business ultimately, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think the key thing is understanding your workforce, understanding their needs, and each individual in your team will have different needs.
Yeah.
And different ways of maximising their productivity. Some people work really well from home. I'm personally not one of those individuals. I find myself incredibly distracted at home. I can just see that window needs cleaning. I can see I'm thinking about putting the washing machine on, and generally I'm thinking about what's in the fridge. So for my waistline, my sanity, I do enjoy actually the routine of getting up and get myself ready and going into work, and I enjoy the social interaction that comes with that too, and the structure. But that doesn't mean, because that's what I want as a leader, that everyone in my team should have to tick that same box. And I think being able to offer that flexibility gives you a great level of diversity in your team. I think we lose out on certain individuals when we don't offer that flexibility. There's lots of parents juggling childcare, or just juggling caring for another member of the family, or dealing with a disability, or whatever challenges people have in life at different stages. And offering them that flexibility mean you get that diversity in your team. I'm not just going to get 15, 20 somethings that want to be in the office 5 days a week and are aggressively trying to progress in their career. I don't need that no one needs that in one team. You want that some maturity. You want some people, who are not quite as ambitious, and it'll be that your steady eddies in the team. You need somebody who's going to innovate. And I want all those different personalities, because I believe that's the best way to just having a diverse team. I think it gives you high productivity levels, high innovation. All those ideas are flowing, and I think people develop when they're surrounded by different personalities and people with different strengths and weaknesses. Yeah,
I think that's brilliant. I think, as you say, it's having a varied background, a different skill set, somebody from a different type of organisation. As you say, it just gives a I suppose a blend of personality in the office that ultimately will develop your team, and hopefully performance quicker than having everybody who's exactly the same. It gives you that different offering, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think we've all seen, haven't we, those leaders that recruit people in their own shadow. So people who are just like them, or maybe people who don't actually challenge them. And I think one of the things I do look for when I look to recruit is someone who's got different experiences to me. Irrespective of what level they're coming into the organisation, it's great to have someone who's seen something a bit different, or worked on a project that I've never worked on, or has a skill or a strength that I don't particularly have. Because, as you become more and more senior, you have less opportunities to develop from the people above you. So you do have to go, have to look at your peers and your direct reports and the people within your team for that development. And so I just genuinely believe that taking someone who might challenge you or challenge your experience is a really good way to recruit, and a really good way to expand your knowledge, no matter what level you're working at.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And Jill, obviously we joked at the start of the call that the last sort of 8-9 months have been a crazy, challenging time for everyone. What does the next 6 months look like in your opinion, in your sector? What do you see? What do you see the challenges? What do you see the positives? What do you see the next 6 months looking like?
Oh wow.
It's a very broad question.
Look, some similar challenges to a lot of industries, to be honest with you, in that I mean, from a commercial perspective, a business perspective, we're battening down the hatches, as a lot of organisations do, and we take a full advantage of what government support is available to us, which is not as much as we'd like, but obviously we try and do that. We try and look after our workforce so that when we come through this, they're still with us. And at the moment, we've had a lot of loyalty from our workforce, and hopefully that can continue for the next few months until we come out of the other side. You know, every business has shareholders, so we need to keep them up to date with you know, what's happening, and you know, what we're in survival mode as a lot of industries, and we take it one day at a time. But as we move into the next few months, obviously the news of the vaccines is great, and hopefully that they'll be rolled out soon. You know, the enhanced testing and that can reduce quarantine times is obviously another, and giving people the confidence to travel will be another a good thing for us as we get through the next few months. Because it's just people being able to travel and having the confidence to travel. Will obviously reignite a lot of industries that, to be honest, were struggling previously. You know, we've seen airlines go out of business in the last couple of years, and it's been a tough place to be pre-COVID. And obviously, COVID has decimated a lot of profit and loss accounts this year. Yeah. And it's not just the travel industry. We know the other industries that are impacted. But it really is just about staying positive, managing cash as well as we can, to get through the next few months, and you know, and crossing our fingers that the vaccine and the testing will open up the country and open up the world for us to get back out there. And I think we all need a holiday.
Yeah, well, Jill, one last question for you. Once it's safe to do so, where's the first holiday? Where are you going?
I'll be going to Dubai, I think. Hopefully in the spring. One of my closest, oldest friends lives there, and I haven't seen her for the last year. Normally go out a couple of times a year to see her, and she normally comes home in the summer to see me. And that's probably one of the first places that I'll go, get a little bit of sunshine.
I don't blame you. It's one of my favourite places as well. So I might be jumping on the same plane. Yeah, well, Jill, Luke, thank you very much for joining me today. I know you've got 1,000,001 things to do, but thank you very much. It's been very insightful.
Oh, you're welcome. Good to see you.
Brilliant. Cheers, Jill. Thank you.